Okay, let's get right into this video. This is solving more word problems. These are fraction by fraction multiplication word problems. So let's look right over here. Joachim is icing 30 cupcakes. He spreads mint icing on 1/5 of the cupcakes and chocolate on 1/2 of the remaining cupcakes. The rest get vanilla icing. How many cupcakes will get vanilla icing? So here is where we know, going to mark up this problem, that he's icing 30 cupcakes. He's going to spread mint icing on 1/5 of the cupcakes, chocolate on 1/2 of the remaining cupcakes, and then the rest will get vanilla icing. How many cupcakes will have vanilla icing? So I have to annotate first that J is icing 30. And I could CC 30 cupcakes, right? He does mint on 1/5 of the cupcakes. So I write that down, mint, 1/5, okay? And chocolate on 1/2 of the remaining cupcakes. So chocolate, right? Chocolate on 1/2 of the remaining cupcakes, okay? And then the rest will get vanilla, okay? And so I'm just going to put here vanilla, all right, with the question mark. So if Joachim is icing 30 cupcakes and he spreads mint on 1/5 of the cupcakes, well, then that looks pretty straightforward, that I have to do 1/5 of 30. Okay, so how do we do 1/5 of 30? Well, I'm seeing in class a lot of you are looking at that as multiplication and doing 1/5 times 30 over 1, which equals 30 over 5, which simplified equals 6, right? And that is our mint, okay? That is mint. Okay, so I did that. 1/5 of 30 is 6. The next thing it says, that was mint, is the chocolate. So 1/2 of the remaining cupcakes are going to be chocolate. Well, how many cupcakes are remaining? Well, we had 30 cupcakes, right? 6 of them are mint. So I'm going to subtract 30 minus 6. And 30 minus 6 is going to give you 24. All right, so there are 24 remaining cupcakes. Well, 1/2 of them are going to be chocolate. So this I'm now going to do 1/2, right? 1/2 of 24. All right, so what is 1/2 of 24? A lot of you will just know that 1/2 of 24 equals 12, right? And this is chocolate. And if you had to, you could multiply that across and you would see that it's 24 divided by 2 equals 12. Okay? Excellent. So that is 12 get the chocolate, 6 have the mint. And now it says the rest will get vanilla. So the rest will get vanilla. Well, let's look so far. Okay? We knew there were 30 cupcakes altogether. I'm going to change this color. So if there were 30 cupcakes altogether and 6 were mint, 12 were chocolate, and I add them up, that's 18 cupcakes so far. The rest will get vanilla. Well, so I have to do now the 30 I started with minus the 18 that already have frosting on them. And let me subtract that, and you get 12. And 12 will be vanilla. So right there, you have 6 mint, 12 chocolate, 12 vanilla. Okay. Okay. Now, let's take a look at this one. Mrs. Onusko made 60 cupcakes for a bake sale. So she made 60 cupcakes for a bake sale. She sold 2/3 of them and then gave 3/4 of the remaining cookies to the students working at the sale. How many cookies did she have left? Okay. So, first thing we know is I'm writing that Mrs. O, she had 60 cookies. That's what I'm starting off with, my 60 cookies. All right? She sold 2/3 of them. Okay? Sold 2/3 of them. All right. Okay. And then she gave, she gave 3/4, right? Gave 3/4 to the students. I'm going to put just ST. Okay. How many cookies did she have left? That's what we're looking for up here. So let's get started. All right. So she had 60 cookies. Okay. And she sold 2/3 of them. So I'm going to have to times that by 2/3. Okay. And that equals 120 over 3. And 120 over 3. I'm doing this, and I could see that 3 goes into 12. How many times? 4 times. And then we have the 0 left over. So our answer here is 40. Okay? So she sold 40. So this is how many cookies she sold. All right? Cookies sold was 40. Okay? Then it says, and gave 3/4 of the remaining cookies to the students working at the sale. Well, she gave 3/4 of the remaining cookies. Well, how many cookies were remaining? Well, how many were remaining? She had 60. I'm going to do it over here. And she sold 40. Subtract that. There were 20 cookies left. So she gave 3/4 of the remaining cookies, okay, to the students. So I have to do 3/4 of 20. Now, 3/4 of 20, you could do this. Some of you may say, all right, wait. I actually would say is you have 20, divide that up into 4 groups. That's 5. And I'm looking at 3 of those groups is 15. So your answer is 15 for there. Or you could multiply straight across, have the imaginary 1, and you would get 60 over 4. And 60 over 4 is equal to 15. So this 15, okay, is how many cookies she gave away. All right, she gave away. So here, she sold 40 of them. She gave 15. How many cookies did she have left? Well, if she sold 40 of them and she gave 15 away, add that up, that's 55 cookies. She only made 60 cookies for the bake sale. How many did she have left? Well, take away those 55, and you have 5 cookies left. And that is your final answer. 5 cookies left. Okay? A lot of steps in that problem. Just go through it. Make sure you have these annotations. Extremely important. Okay? Now let me get ready for the final question here. And here we are, last question. The Booster Club sells 240 cheeseburgers. 1/4 of them had pickles, and half of the remaining burgers had onions. The rest had tomato. How many cheeseburgers had tomato? So I have to annotate here. The BC, okay, sells 240 cheeseburgers. All right, so 240 CB cheeseburgers. I'm just annotating it, okay? If you won't know that BC is Booster Club and CB isn't cheeseburger, then you write it out, okay? But we know that 1/4 of those cheeseburgers had pickles. So pickles, all right, is 1/4. And then half of the onions is half of the remaining burgers. And then tomatoes, we're finding out. Okay, well, we're finding them out all, but whatever's left is tomatoes. So let's start. So 1/4 of those cheeseburgers had pickles. So I have to do 1/4 of the 240. Well, we know our basic facts here, right? So I should know that I'm either going to multiply across and get 240 divided by 4, or actually, that's what you're doing. However you look at it, you're going to be doing 240 divided by 4. Even if I put that over 1 and I know I have to multiply, 240 over 4. Basic fact. 24 divided by 4 equals 6, and then you had a 0 left over. Okay, you're bringing that 0 over. So 1/4 of them had pickles, so that is here. That is 60 had pickles. Okay, now half of the remaining burgers had onions. Well, let's look. It's not half of that 60, it's half of the remaining burgers. Well, we had 240 burgers, 60 of them had pickles. You have to subtract, that's 0. 24 minus 6 is 18, is 180. So there were 180 burgers left that don't have pickles. Half of them had onions. So for onions, I need to do half of 180. What's half of 180? Well, I know from my basic facts that half of 18, right, is 9. So half of 180 is 90. Or you could multiply it across and get 180 over 2, which is the same thing we just did, is 90. So we had 180 burgers. Now 90 of them, right? So we had, this is onions. So now we had 180. Subtract the 90 that had onions. That's 90 left. The rest had tomato. So it's 90 had tomato. And there are our answers. 60 with pickle, 90 with onions, 90 with tomato. But the question wanted how many cheeseburgers had tomato? 90. Okay. So you want to look this over. I know it's going to be a 15-minute video. Okay. But please watch it, get a piece of paper, work through these problems. All right. If you haven't, please make sure on YouTube you give the video a like so I know that you've watched it. Till next time.